grid. He passed Jacques Villeneuve. He took the lead. He stayed there. And David Hill exits the chicane and wins the Japanese Grand Prix. And I've got to stop because I've got a lump in my throat.
About the outside of it, oh! Tremendous stuff, real stuff.
Oh yes!
Oh! Out goes Michael Schumacher!
That didn't work, Michael. You hit the wrong part of him, my friend.
And Jacques Villeneuve settles for third place and the World Championship of 1997.
And here we are, guys, for the Williams trying to get this team in 2025 to the top. And here we are obviously with the 2025 F1 manager DLC. So we have hired a race engineer, a new affiliate, 2 new affiliates, and a new head of aerodynamics, Enrico Balbo, and then sporting director Jonathan Wheatley. And that is going to help us kickstart this team. With 22 million given to Mercedes, we are here in the 2025 season. First of all, the game is to get ourselves some good old upgrades, and we have done that with front wing using everything we had in the ATR period, and we get a lot of performance through that. Then we have the rear wing, and we are going to give everything there. Obviously, dirty air tolerance isn't really for us right now, so we are going to put everything in top speed, and if we can, obviously in the cornering too, using 2 engineers, let's do that too. And then underflow, obviously one of the most important ones and the thing that gives us the high speed cornering. So let's do 2 engineers, let's do that upgrade. And obviously drag reduction for side pod updates, we are going to do it. Yeah, see, I'm still, guys, trying to play with these things. Obviously these sliders, I am still not 100% secure with this, but here we have sponsor negotiation 81 million, and we have hired new technical chief James Allison, and we are, after upgrading for first time, we are here with our suspension. Look at that. The main goal is to get ourselves as much tire preservation as we can. Obviously I am trying to not lose too much top speed, because that is the main, the strength of Williams. So try not to lose that will be one of the main goals right now. So let's do that. Obviously done it. And now after upgrading, let's do chassis 3.5% in the engine cooling, but it gives us a lot of cornering speed. And now after completing the first round of upgrades, I am going to try to make a front wing, which is obviously as best as we can, a low plus a high speed front wing. And let's do that with 4 engineers again, and let's put all the drivers we got for car development. Obviously we now have 4 affiliates. Williams only had 2. We have put 3 on car development and 1 on marketing. So front wing reduced deadline, that will be helpful. Let's manufacture the chassis too. And obviously, guys, I am still not able to get the best performance out here, because obviously I am not on my setup. That is messed up because obviously my motherboard is blown, and that's why it's going to take a little bit. I obviously wanted to do much more videos till then, till now. Obviously it is annoying, guys, but stay with us. I will try to make as many videos as I can as soon as my system gets fixed. But for now, let's keep it here. Underflow and rear wing obviously upgraded. Let's put on the suspension for Sainz, because obviously he has better rated car and he obviously has a better rated driver. So that's why before the first race we have first in the low speed, and also the engine cooling is first for us. So let's see, in the Australian GP, Max Verstappen wins and Sainz P4, Albon P5. That is good. So we now go for a rear wing here. So look at that, our DRS effectiveness is 17, so that is something I will try to focus on now. But right now, as much as we can, we are trying to use the performance and into the Chinese sprint race. Sainz has already done it and he has won the sprint race for Williams after a very long time. That is good. That is good. But into the Chinese main race, we got ourselves into P3 and P4, which is good. Because McLaren is nowhere to be seen with Max Verstappen obviously winning the race. Front wing though, we are trying to, jimmy here and there with the sliders, trying to get as much performance as we can. And we obviously have, that design performance upgrade right now, which obviously gives us plus 45%. We obviously spent $1 million on that, because look at that, we have 21 million. Obviously the upfront payment from the sponsor helped here. And into the Japanese GP, Max Verstappen 5 seconds in front of Sainz, obviously gets himself P1, P2 for Sainz and P6 for Alexander Albon. So after the first 3 races, we are into P2 and P5, but we are only 4 points behind McLaren. That is good. And let's see into the Bahrain GP. We were so close to Max Verstappen, 9 tenths behind, but still we get ourselves into P2. Sainz gets himself into P2, P5 for Albon. Max Verstappen obviously wins the race, but we have obviously, and after 10 years, 12 months, and here we have Carlos Sainz winning it for the Williams, and what a win it is, 1-2 for the Williams in the Saudi Arabian GP. And here we have after that suspension upgrading and trying to get as much performance as we can. And let's see, doing it, and let's use 3 engineers for that, and we have done it. And into the Miami sprint, into the last corner, Albon trying to overtake Carlos Sainz there, trying to get himself a sprint win there and race through the line. Albon is going to get himself a win in the sprint race, but in the main race, Carlos Sainz has showed him the real pace of the Williams and has won the main race with Max Verstappen into P2 and Albon into P3. And here we have overtaken Red Bull and McLaren for P1. And into the Imola GP, again an easy work for us. Obviously the front wing, 2 big upgrades with the front wing is helping us. 1-2 in Imola and 1-2 in the Principality of Monaco. Sainz again wins it and Albon also wins it, and we won it by a mile. 29 seconds for Albon to P3, which was Piastri, craziness there. But into the Spanish GP, Max Verstappen comes back and gets himself the win with P2 going to Piastri, Albon P3 and Sainz into P4. And let's see, obviously Lando Norris only P5, but this means guys we are now in the lead with Carlos Sainz in the driver standings too. Obviously the goal for this episode of my experiment was to get Williams a win, but we are looking like we can get Carlos Sainz a win too. And here we are into the Canadian GP, and Albon has taken it P2. Lando Norris just behind him into P3 and Carlos Sainz into P4 and Piastri into P5. So we are really close here. And into the Austrian GP guys, we are looking a little bit bad here. Obviously our top speed is not that good right now, and Max Verstappen has won it obviously, and we are with P3 and P5 consolidating some more points, and with a new ATR period underflow using that, and that gives us a little bit more performance. That is good, and we are obviously right now 9th in the acceleration. That needs to be get better, but here we are trying to just focus on what we can do for the British GP. Obviously guys, I must tell you, I have messed up the British GP guys. I don't know how. I forgot to record the race and it annoyed me to hell, because it was a 1-2 for Carlos Sainz and Alexander Albon, and that too in Williams home race, getting a 1-2 for Williams. Amazing achievement there. Obviously Max Verstappen still 10 points in front of Carlos Sainz. Can I get Carlos Sainz that driver championship? It's still too long to see. Let's see what we can do. But into the Spa-Funker Shaw, Max Verstappen showing why this track it's his favorite, and we obviously 5 seconds behind them, and Albon into the main race 5 seconds behind Max Verstappen, but Carlos Sainz a little bit too behind into P5, 2 seconds behind Lando Norris, and Hamilton getting himself a podium there for Ferrari, for the Scuderia, for the Tifosi. What a work for them. And obviously Ferrari sometimes comes here and there, they aren't really anywhere to be seen. And into the Hungarian GP, Max Verstappen has pulled a bigger gap from the last race, 16 seconds to Alexander Albon, and Carlos Sainz has dropped the ball, and this is going to cause these wins, and these bad performance for Carlos Sainz is going to cost him. Let's see what he can do. And after that we have a summer break now, guys. Let's try to do this, and let's try to get that underfloor first of all done. 3 engineers, yeah, that should be enough. And we have a temporary shutdown right now, but I thought, you know what, let's just do these designs as soon as the time run out for the temporary shutdown. It will again automatically start to do the design work. So let's do another rear wing here. That is going to give us a lot of performance in the cornering, medium and high speed, which is good, guys. We need that. But into the Zandvoort GP after the summer break, Lando Norris has pulled out all the spots, 6 seconds to Max Verstappen in his home race. For us it was 3rd and 4th for Albon and 4th for Sainz, a little bit here and there, but I think we can do much better. And look at the performance gain we can get, because we are medium speed, we are 3rd, but sorry 7th. Obviously engine cooling, guys, we have the best engine cooling, so that's not going to hurt us. And into Monza GP, guys, Alexander Albon trying to fight with Hamilton trying to go side by side, trying to get the win for the Ferrari, but Alexander Albon has won in Monza, and he has won against the Tifosi Ferrari. Not really happy there. They could have gotten the win, but they wasn't able to do it. Alexander Albon denied that for Hamilton. What an amazing work.
Williams have quite an eye for talent.
And obviously Carlos Sainz only gets himself P4, which is behind Max Verstappen, though only 3 points. But look at that, that is going to cost us. We are already almost 50 points behind Max Verstappen, and 50 points is a lot of deficit to be in, that too about 6 races left only, well 8. But into the Azerbaijan GP, Max Verstappen has again pulled himself out of the bag and has won the Azerbaijan GP. Sainz only P2, but into the Singapore GP, Alexander Albon is showing his true pace, winning the race, and Carlos Sainz into P2 and Max Verstappen into P3. That is good, though only a 3-point lead for Carlos Sainz. Well, 3-point increment in the points against Max Verstappen. It's not going to be enough because we are 50 points behind now. Exactly. So it's going to be difficult with only 7 races to go. Let's see what we can do. And into the sprint race, look at that, how crazy that was. And Max Verstappen almost overtook Alexander Albon for P2 in the sprint race, but Carlos Sainz winning the sprint race and now won the main race. Carlos Sainz gets himself into P1 and craziness here all around P3 for Alexander Albon, who gained 16th position. That is good. And look at that, guys, we are 32 points behind Max Verstappen. Can we do something? And look at that, 10 wins for Max Verstappen and 6 for Carlos Sainz. I mean, that is honestly crazy to see. I mean, I am speechless for that, because obviously Max Verstappen showed so much pace. Obviously it will be a little difficult, but I think we can do it. But into Mexico, Max Verstappen extends his lead by way too many points, and this might be the nail in the coffin, guys. But still, look at that, Carlos Sainz had 33% tire left there, guys, P4 for him, and Alexander Albon P3. But here into the Brazilian GP, guys, we had a red flag things changed, but Alonso did himself enough. Sorry, there was a safety car, and Alonso, Lawson and Tinelli did not pit, and they were able to get themselves the P1, 2 and 3. But into the main race, where we had the time to overtake them, we were able to get ourselves 1 and 2 with Max Verstappen into P3 and 10 points for Carlos Sainz. That is good. Only 37 points left. That is going to get spicy now, guys, with Las Vegas, Qatar, and then we have one more race into the final race, but Max Verstappen has won Las Vegas, guys. Alexander Albon into P3 and P5 for Carlos Sainz. That is bad. We need a really good result in Qatar, and we start that by winning for Carlos Sainz, but P2 for Max Verstappen. But Sainz gets himself the win, and into the Qatar GP, P3 for Albon. But Max Verstappen is only P7. But the good thing for him is he did score some points. That is big for him. I might have done everything we needed, but it might not have been enough, guys. Let's see what we can do into the final race of the season, the Abu Dhabi GP, and here we go for the final race, and let's see what we can do. 1-2 right now for Carlos Sainz and Albon stays in front of Max Verstappen, but after a long while, after 28 years in the making, Williams have finally won a championship, a constructor championship they are for the 2025 season, and what a way to do it. McLaren had no answer, Red Bull had no answer, Ferrari were never there, and Williams has done it by achieving a 1-2 in the final race. What a crazy season this has been.
Now, wasn't that a seriously good drive from Carlos Sainz?
What a brilliant race that was for the team. They just did everything right, the driver included, of course.
But just look at this. The overwhelming excitement for those celebrating this achievement. And with that, the Sainz name remains engraved in F1 history.
And that's excellent, seeing both the team's drivers up there on the podium together.
And with that, the drivers finally get the chance to cool off and enjoy themselves. Now, Karun, no doubt there'll be a lot for the teams to process after that race, but how do you think
And obviously Carlos Sainz, even though he won it, he wasn't able to win the championship. That obviously is sad, but guys, they did everything. Look at that. We were 22 points behind Max Verstappen at the end. A really close battle, but obviously Max Verstappen had a lot of things to do. And obviously a dominant performance for Williams in the constructor. Craziness there. And guys, if you're enjoying these kinds of videos, these experiment videos, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys for the next one.